3. Walking to school the next day, I thought over my mother's suggestion. After all, the kids at Aln Mndlshn couldn't be all that bad. Maybe I just needed to give them a chance. Maybe I was being too sensitive. After all, only a few kids had giggled at me, not all of them. I decided I would try to be friendly. I'd been assigned to a home room, room 107. Every day at the beginning and the end of school, I had to go to room 107. There was a teacher there, Mrs. Steele. She would be my homeroom teacher all through junior high school. In our homeroom period, which was about 15 minutes, Miss Steele would read us announcements and help us with our problems. That's what we were told they told me in the office when I was filling out cards. I went to room 107 and found a seat. "That's my desk, little boy," said someone. It was a girl about 6 feet tall. Now get out of here so I can sit with my friends." Most of the girls were taller than me, but this one was really a giant. I thought I'd try out my friendly stuff. "Hi, my name is Leonard Niebel," I said. "I didn't know that seats had been assigned." "Just get out of here, you little pimple," she said. I took another seat in the back of the room. The giant girl sat down at the desk and leaned forward, talking to a bunch of other girls, all of whom were taller than me. I watched kids drift off into room 107. Room 107. They all seemed to know each other. They waved and smiled and changed seats so they could be nearer their friends. Obviously, seats had not been assigned. That big dopey girl could have just asked me to change seats. I was sitting in the last seat in the last row, so I could see everything that happened in the room. A teacher came in. She was tall and sort of old. She smiled at the class with her lips pressed together. The bell rang. "Class, come to order," Miss Steele said. Everyone sort of shuffled around in their seats. "Now get ready for the PA announcements," Miss Steele said. The door opened, and a little kid came in. He was a lot shorter than me, wearing a brand new jeans with cuffs turned up about halfway to his knees. He had these really thick glasses that made his eyes look like fish in a bowl. He looked like he was about 6 years old. Then I heard the chimes. Boing, bong, boing. It was the PA, the public address system. There was a loudspeaker on the wall of the classroom, up near the clock. "Welcome to your second day of fall term at Aln Mndlshn Junior High School," a voice said. "This is Mr. Winter, your principal. I trust you are all settling down to work in your classes, and I hope we can all enjoy this term together. However, nobody is going to enjoy this term if we have the same problem in the schoolyard with waste paper and candy wrappers that we had last term. You children are privileged to live in the greatest country in the world, and to go to school, which is a beautiful campus which has been resurfaced with blacktop. There are waste baskets exactly every 20 feet on our lovely lunch court, and there are benches all freshly painted for you to sit on in the fine weather and enjoy your lunch. The benches are for sitting, not for standing on, and certainly not for carving and defacing, and the waste baskets are for your waste paper and refuse. You will see some of your fellow students wearing armbands in orange and green, our school colors. These are lunch court monitors, and I expect you to listen to them. If lunch court monitor tells you to pick up a candy wrapper, you will pick up that candy wrapper up. The lunch court monitor has the authority to report you to the lunch court teacher, and the lunch court teacher has the authority to send you to my office. Now, my office is open to all students all the time to deal with legitimate problems, but I don't want to see any students in my office because of a violation of the lunch court code." He went on like that. It was impossible to listen. Kids were talking to each other, and Miss Steele was writing in her attendance book. I decided to try out my friendliness on the little kid next to me. "Hi," I said. "My name is Leonard Niebel." "Yeah, I know," said the kid. "You're the weirdo. I saw you in gym class yesterday." "You there, in the last seat. No talking. Stand up. What's your name?" Miss Steele was shouting at me. My name got the usual laughs. Miss Steele went on about how we were all supposed to listen to the PA, and did that I think that I was a special character. In the background, Mr. Swinter was still booming away on the loudspeaker. "We always show consideration for others by keeping to the right when passing through the halls, and we do not wear shoes with metal taps. Any boy wearing shoes with metal taps may be reported by the hall monitor, who will have the right to send him to my office, which is always open to any student with a legitimate problem, but I don't want to see." And it went on until the bell rang. I went to my first class, which was English. Apparently the day before, when I hadn't been there, the teacher had the class write a composition on what they did on their summer vacation. Today she was going to have the kids read their papers. Since I didn't write one, I felt safe in my seat in the back of the room. Several kids were chosen to get up and read their papers. All of them had been somewhere. Some of them had been to summer camps, fancy ones that specialized in dance or tennis or horseback riding. One kid had gone to Europe on a tour for kids, and another had gone with his folks. The teacher's name was Miss Trumbull, and she seemed fairly nice. "We have one new boy in class," she said, "who hasn't written a paper, but maybe he'll tell us about his summer anyways. Leonard Nebel." There was the giggling. Kids swiveled around to see who Leonard Nebel was. "Leonard, wouldn't you like to come to the front of the room and tell us all about your summer vacation?" Miss Trumbull asked. My face felt hot. I went to the front of the room. "Well, my parents and I moved to a new house," I said. "That's very nice," Miss Trumbull said. "And what else happened to you over the summer?" "I got a dog," I said. "Oh, how lucky for you," Miss Trumbull said. "What kind of dog is it, Leonard?" "What kind?" There was something creeping into Miss Trumbull's voice that told me she was getting the idea I was feeble-minded and needed to be helped along. "Is it a poodle, or a Dalmatian, or a Scottie, Leonard?" she said. "No, it's just a big brown dog. We got him at the pound." There was a silence. I couldn't see the kids in the class. I was looking at the floor. "Don't mumble, Leonard," Miss Trumbull said. "Did anything else happen during the summer that you'd like to tell us?" "Well, I worked," I said. "Oh, you had a job. That's wonderful," Miss Trumbull said. "Would you like to tell us what sort of job it was?" "Just helping my father in his business." "And what sort of business is it, Leonard?" I had the feeling Miss Trumbull thought I didn't know how to talk, and she was going to teach me right then and there. Her voice was sort of extra sweet, and she was sort of leaning forward and bending around so she could stand behind me and look at my face at the same time. "It's a rag business," I said. "Different peddlers bring rags, and my father buys them, and we weigh them and sort them and pack them in bales and sell them to factories and places." I was picking up speed. I sort of liked working there, except a couple of times I got fleas. "Thank you very much, Leonard, for telling us about your interesting summer. You may return to your seat." Miss Trumbull was standing a good way behind me. All the kids were scratching themselves like they had fleas and making chimpanzee faces as I walked to the back of the room. I don't remember too much about the rest of the day. I gave up on trying to be a friend and have a friend, and spent the lunch period by myself. One kid did talk to me. A lunch court monitor made me pick up a Three Musketeers wrapper that wasn't mine. I didn't say anything to him. I just picked it up and carried it to one of the wire waste paper baskets placed every 20 feet and dropped it in. After lunch, I went to my gym class. As I walked through the door of the gym, I heard this terrifically loud voice shout, "Fatso, where are your gym shoes?"